So Road Chef contacted me and said, look, we want to stock your sweets in
That's crazy.
Road Chef. They've got 30 Road Chefs, 30 WH Smiths that they wanted me to stock. And it wasn't just a couple of products, it was like a whole shelf, like a whole kind of rack of sweets. Basically, they had some complications with their old supplier. They wasn't able to get any more stock, and so there was just, in pretty much every Road Chef WH Smith store, there was just a big gap. So they were like, we need it urgent, we need it quick, can you do it?
Hi there all, welcome to part 2 of this incredible episode with Jason. Ryan's disappeared now, and I've got a great story for you. This is one that I'm really interested in, and Jason's just going to talk through it.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I'm going to name this episode The Sweet Story.
The Sweet Story, cool.
And I'll let you take it away.
I like it. Wicked. So back in 2016, me and a friend of mine purchased a sweet company that we found on eBay. Only a small sweet company. Didn't think too much of it. We just wanted something that was going to tick over, and another little bit of extra income on the side, kind of thing. And we saw this on eBay. We thought it was a great little buy for a small company just ticking over. It wasn't doing too much, maybe 300 quid a month in sales. Nothing too major. Small little street shop, perfect,
yeah.
Just what we wanted.
Yeah.
So we end up buying this and kind of going through with it and continuing up with the sales and stuff. It was a really great website actually, and all the sales were organic, so which is a blessing, because normally you've got to spend a ton of money with Google just to get on the first page, whereas we rank quite highly without having to spend much money. So yeah, we kind of have that kind of ticking over for a while and stuff, and then kind of lockdown hit. So that was an interesting time, because just before lockdown, I'd received an email from WH Smith, or I should say Road Chef, who I think Road Chef do WH Smith in their own motorway services.
Yeah.
They kind of like franchise it, or whatever.
Yeah.
So Road Chef contacted me and said, look, we want to stock your sweets in
That's crazy.
Road Chef. They've got 30 Road Chefs, 30 WH Smiths that they wanted me to stock. And it wasn't just a couple of products, it was like a whole shelf, like a whole kind of rack of sweets. Basically, they had some complications with their old supplier. They wasn't able to get any more stock, and so there was just, in pretty much every Road Chef WH Smith store, there was just a big gap. So they were like, we need it urgent, we need it quick, can you do it? And I'm not one for saying no. When the opportunity comes to me, an opportunity like that, I was like, I just have to say yes and try to make this thing happen. So said yes, came up with a range of kind of products that was all freshly designed by me, the whole packaging, kind of everything.
That's crazy.
Designed it all, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of, it wasn't a 9 to 5. I was doing this whilst working as well. So that went pretty insane, to be honest with you. The whole, I was living with my parents, and so we're getting like 3 or 4 pallets worth of sweets getting delivered to the house, and we're having to work it all through and stuff. It was crazy, and all the family members were kind of helping out and stuff, and it was great, and it went really well. It was just keeping up, but that was at that time it was really stressful. I mean, the demand that you got, and there's only so much you can supply, even at your best kind of your best days. So I kind of started looking around to see whether I could find a kind of manufacturer that could do it for me. Somebody with because I'm kind of like doing this all kind of manually. So the thought process was, if I can get somebody that's got a machine in food, and there's a lot of companies around and stuff, but at the time I couldn't find one that would do it for the right price. So, but yeah, I mean, that was a really exciting time for me. That was, because I've done a few companies before, and maybe they've not quite worked out. And I think even if you start a company and you fail at that company, that shouldn't put you off starting the next one.
It's just a learning, isn't it?
It's just a learning curve. So, for me, it was just trying to find that supplier to try to take some of the pressure off me. Because alongside doing all that, we were also doing all the stuff that we normally do to the domestic customers. So it was it was full on. But yeah, luckily I got a lot of help from friends and family and stuff, and managed to kind of pull it off to an extent.
Okay.
And then I ended up selling it off. I can't remember when I sold it off now. Maybe a year and a half ago, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I've
got quite a few questions.
Yes, I can imagine. Go on.
First of all, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you buy it for off eBay?
God, I can't remember now. It wasn't much. I think it was probably about £1.50.
And it was cash flowing £300
Yeah, it was around that.
net?
Around that. Yeah, in sales.
Organically?
Organically, yeah.
And in terms of like, were they producing their own sweets?
So they weren't producing. We were kind of buying them in from the wholesaler and just selling them. I guess what you kind of do if you're just a normal kind of. I see a lot of people selling sweets on like Facebook and stuff.
Oh, you just get a load of it and you create your own bag.
Yeah,
you brand it up.
Yeah, you literally just buy a wholesale of your sweets. You normally get them in 3 kilogram bags. You make your own little design, your own little personalisation and stuff, and then you just kind of plug it on.
So the company you bought had already done that. They had their own branding.
Sorry, so the company that we had basically allowed you to customise your own pick and mix bag. Okay. So you could, as if you were in a cinema or wherever, you could go onto the site and put 100 grams. And I think a lot of sites do it now. I think when we had bought this company, there wasn't many people doing it.
No.
So I think that's probably part of the reason why it was going so well. And then, a couple of years later, the competition had jumped so much. And the markup on it was really good as well. So I can understand why people wanted to get on that bandwagon. But we were doing quite well. So it was
okay. So all of a sudden you got this email.
Yes.
Saying, can you stock us? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, one, like, what an opportunity to arise in terms of like considering the circumstances. For two, were you thinking, right, this is it now? Like, is this our opportunity here to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was still working full time at the time as well. It did cross my mind as to whether I need to leave my job and kind of pick this up full time. It would have definitely have helped. But I think everything happened so quickly for me. It was a bit of a blur. So we didn't actually get anything in writing, which was looking back on kind of on reflection. That was probably a bit of an oversight. Maybe we should have had something. But when you got a customer like WH Smith asking you, can you supply the store? My first reaction was, as a customer, yes, we can do this, yes, we can do that. Yes, customer, we can. Yeah. So my problem was, if I started throwing a contract on the table, are they gonna take offence to that?
Yeah, of course.
To an extent.
Yeah,
I was quite happy to do it as a kind of a pay-as-you-go kind of rolling thing, verbal agreements, and kind of emails and stuff. So that's kind of how we rolled for, until I sold it.
Okay. And so, just so I just get an image in my head.
Yes.
You bought this business online, which you can make your own custom sweets.
Yeah.
So you buy your sweets in, you create your own bags or whatever you do.
Yeah.
Is the brand already created, or did you create the brand?
So the logo and stuff came with the company. We didn't really we didn't really mess with that too much.
Yeah.
So that kind of stayed as it was.
And the sweets that people were buying was already, you had quite a customer base, so you didn't have to worry too much about marketing.
There was we had people ordering regularly, routinely. Nice. And then we had a lot of new customers coming as well. During lockdown, it went crazy as well because everybody wanted pick and mix sweets. We were one of the only few sites kind of providing that service. And obviously, I'm not sure if you saw like Wilkinson's and everything, it was all just taped up, the pick and mix. You couldn't touch it.
Yeah, because you could only buy essential items.
Yeah.
And then Brad, the home business guru who could suddenly, young kids were just making their own businesses, and then probably a lot of them done a lot of sweets sort of.
I think that's probably likely, the story that kind of happened. So obviously it kind of saturated the market a little bit, and we kind of saw a bit of a decline. Well, it went up massively during lockdown, but I think kind of after, when people started going back and it was readily available in shops again, that's when we saw these competitors were still there, and it was I then decided to focus more on the kind of commercial side
Yeah.
and selling it through retail outlets. And then, even though the profit margins were lower, I felt like that was the right kind of avenue to go down,
Yeah.
rather than the kind of domestic side of it, because that was just way too oversaturated.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's what we focused on.
I think it's a great story. I hope you profited well from it. I'm not going to jump into that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you did.
I've done it right from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what then moved me on to the kind of property thing, the buying my first garage and stuff. I think at the time, at the peak, because I had to give 30-day terms on my invoices, it meant at one time I think I had about 50 or 60,000 pounds just in my accounts receivable. So 50k of my money tied up in my company was tricky to then kind of go into property with. But once I kind of sold it off on that, I was then able to kind of use that money to invest in property.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of where I'm kind of at now.
Did you, when you sold your company off, was it tax deductible rent, or were you able to sort of? I was doing it kind of in the house. So that's kind of where the small domestic business side of it was. Yeah. And then when it grew, it kind of just grew in the house. So I did end up renting a garage just to keep some stock in, some overflow stock. Yeah. But the bulk of it was done at home. Okay. There wasn't really much rent stuff going on there. Yeah, for sure. in my books, anyway. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jace. Thank you. That's really good. Is there any other points you want to say? What's one more thing? Yeah. Just based on the sweet story, because I think that's great for anyone that because a lot of people say don't try and recreate the wheel. Just roll with what's already been made. Yeah, it's a good way. Just strip it back. Simple stuff is a lot of time. It's what wins the customers. Stuff like Krispy Kreme donuts. Yeah. The fact that they've just taken the donut and they've just perfected that donut, and then that's their product, and they make a fortune out of it. And it's just finding that one little thing and perfecting it, or making, just stripping everything back and just going, this is what we do. This is the simple, And a lot of the time you will win customers that way. Yeah, I like that. So I want to promote entrepreneurship, but I want to say to people that you can also buy businesses and put your own stamp on that and your own identity. Yeah, sure. I think it's a lot easier sometimes buying one that's kind of got to a certain level, especially if you're not if you don't feel that your skills lie in setting up businesses. Yeah. And I'd always suggest that people do the minimum that you need to do legally. So, sometimes you do need insurance, you do need this, you do need that. So get your minimum but don't go out, spend loads of money on stuff, trying to make your business, as much as it needs to be to kind of go out, because the chances are sometimes it might not work. Yeah. So it's better to just do your bare minimum. So if I was going to just, sell makeup, for example, you'd start a website. Yeah. You literally list your makeup and then you start selling it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's no kind of faffing about with starting up limited and doing all this. There's no need to do all that. There's no need to go limited. Start up as a sole trader. Yeah. It's normally much better for you anyway. And then when you're ready to, and your turnover kind of, maybe is exceeding the limit, then you can move over into limited. You can get your VAT registration and stuff and kind of then go through that. But to start out, if you just want to do a side, I see a lot of people on Facebook that just sell little bits of crafts that they make, I've got somebody that sells little wooden items that they kind of craft, somebody that sells like bows, like hair bows and stuff, and they make it themselves. And that's just a nice little way to start into the market and test it and pick up skills from that. And then you can work out. I always think much more highly of somebody that started from nothing than somebody who's kind of maybe had a bit of money behind them before they've gone out and started. So and I always think, the best stories are the stories where people have started from nothing. And, they are, absolutely. Yeah. So. All right, thanks, Jace, for coming. I'll get you on again in the future. Yeah, if definitely. You like. And I look forward to it. Yeah, if you want to head down to the networking event one time, there might be people watching that'll be there that might want to chat to you about potential work services in the future. Perfect, yeah. All right. I love that. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and see you soon.